Look, we continue our coverage of how COVID and the crazy things that are affecting America because we have a massive Pacific diaspora in these places. Now, just as I am coming onto air now, here is another update from the UK. They have put a ban on travel anywhere from South America, Brazil, because of the new variants that have just popped up in those places. And as well as we have just got figures that out of the whole of the UK at the moment, here's a breakdown of how many people have received the vaccine. So you've got the Midlands, they've been receiving 447,000 people have received the vaccine, followed by 433,000 by the Northeast, Yorkshire, 411,000 in the southeast. That's a total of 237,000 that have been administered for London itself. Now, the reason why this is important, like I said, many years ago when we migrated to New Zealand. This was the furthest world from where we came from, whichever is your Hawaii, Tonga, Fiji. And so people came here. This was the world. And then we started to, the new generation came of those who were born in the diaspora who then traveled on to other lands. And UK was so foreign back then, you can only think of as rugby league players or the odd islander who decided to leave being an islander and Pipalangi and go travel. But nowadays, we have proper settlements of Pacific Islanders in these circles. And so this morning, we are speaking to Lilomaiava Joanne Lufi Ah-Sam, a Samoan-born New Zealander living and working as a teacher in the UK. She's been there since the year 2000. Just to give you a little bit of a background, Lilomaiava is a daughter of South Auckland. She's the eldest daughter of Ulungialote Ah-Sam from Bayusu, and the current deputy principal, that's mum, currently deputy principal at Mangere College, Melingana Nu'u, to Oripayali'i Ah-Sam, and she's from Setapoala and Waimoso. Now, before COVID caused all the school closures in the UK, Lilomaiava Joanne Lufi Ah-Sam was working as assistant head teacher at an Academy Trust secondary school in Buckinghamshire, that's in the UK, just outside of West London. Now, if you look at that kind of school, similar to our charters here in Aotearoa, we catch up with Lufi now just to get an idea, because I thought they were in level 3, level 4. Apparently, they are in the middle, smack bang, of Tier 5. Lilo Mayava, Talo Falava, and welcome to the show. Thank you for your time this morning.
Good evening, Tara Flava. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you, because we were talking off air about Kiwis were always like, oh man, I want to be free. I want to go here. Let's open a bubble with our cousins. Let them come in. But tell us an update of your current situation right now, life and work.
So life, we are currently in a nationwide lockdown where you are to remain home. So all schools, all work, everything pretty much is shut, similar to where we were from March the 23rd. And that happened on the 30th of December. So as people had tried to get together for Christmas Day, we had apparently 5 days, but then the government said on the 30th of December, no, because we had cases of up to 50,000 people contracting COVID in one day. There was a period there over the Christmas period where numbers were 47,000, upwards of 50,000. So the government of England said that's enough. And so here we are. Schools are closed again. We were just about to start school on the 4th of January. So I am teaching virally from home. If you are working, you cannot, and only children of essential or critical workers can go to school, and you must be an essential or critical worker to go to work.
Tell me what justifies as an essential worker right now in the UK? Because I asked this, right? Because what has happened so far, Lino Mayama? Yeah. We saw how the ambulance services, those essential workers, they're being called to help out in the hospitals. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting some of the police force driving the ambulance. So it's like essential worker title in the UK seems to be growing, counting in professions that we weren't thinking of before.
Yes, they've even had people from the fire service as well, asking them to drive. They've asked retired doctors, retired nurses to come back and help. They have also asked retired pharmacists if they could come in and help in hospitals as well. So it's pretty much anyone and everyone who can help at the moment, because the NHS, the National Health Service, is just inundated.
It's crazy because I think in history of the UK itself, with the British
Mm,
Empire, you're looking at World War II when such a chaotic environment occurred that focused mainly
mm,
on London, where
mm,
anyone who could help was called in to do whatever their part is. Now, for our, I mean, we're speaking to you this morning because with schools affected, we have a lot of Kiwis that are stuck there. Of course, that is your home.
mm,
You're a Londoner, innit? Like you're not coming back to South Auckland because in any minute now. For those of diaspora, both Kiwis and Pacific Islanders living in the UK, some of them are wanting to
mhm,
come back because now with school closures, jobs, I think now with this tier 5 is even
mm,
in a more dire state than the
mhm.
first one. What sort of support that you may know of for those of our Kiwi expats in the UK, who industries have closed down because of tier 5?
Well, in terms of support from New Zealand, there is a lot of information available on the government website that you can go to here, and there's lots of what was I going to say? A lot of people talking to each other. There is, but what has been difficult, I understand from people that I've spoken to, is the information coming directly from New Zealand about how can we get home and if we can get home. No doubt you all know about trying to find places to come home. But here there has been a lot of financial support from the UK government to businesses as well. It has been slow to get out. There's been a lot of uproar. There's been a lot of people who have been furloughed as well, where the government's paying 80% of their salary and your employer pays 20. But numbers are increasing of people who unfortunately are losing their jobs, particularly in sales, in retail, in food, in hospitality, those areas that rely heavily on visitors. They have definitely suffered a lot, not to mention people in the entertainment industry as well.
And tell us about what you can and cannot do in tier 5. I mean, this is crazy. New Zealand, there was a
Well,
we
yeah,
nearly lost ourselves in level 4, and we thought cannot get any bad, and then hello tier 5.
Tier 5, yes. Well, as we were saying off air, Scotland yesterday went into tier 5.5, so you literally cannot go anywhere. Even the Prime Minister yesterday there was a lot of uproar. He told everybody to stay home, and he's 7 miles down the road. And again, people were in uproar to say, well, if you're telling us to stay home, why are you cycling around to central London? At the moment, the police force has said that the police will fine people if they are out and too far away from your home. I mean, you are allowed to go out of your home to get essential shopping, go to work if you are an essential worker, and to exercise. But there are cases and continuing cases of people who drive 4 hours away to exercise or to meet with friends and have coffee, which you are supposed to allow to meet one person from each household. But again, this time it seems as if people are just meeting in large groups without being caught, but you are meant to just stay home.
I love it, Boris. I was just talking earlier this morning about David Clark. I think he was the Minister of Health at the time last year in New Zealand. He got stood down because I don't know if you guys
Yes.
been keeping up with the news. The man came on air and telling everybody, please stay at home. Got caught once walking the bush. Please stay at home. Got caught walking the beach. And then the man was moving his office in the middle of level 4. Boris, he has to make the news some. He's probably surrounding himself with a lot of Kiwi nurses. He feels safe in the hands of Kiwis. Uh, education. How much is it changing? And
Mm,
now it's the second time for you to teach from
mm,
home. With the given
mm,
stage, and now there are more variants coming in. And maybe as we speak, and yesterday
Mm,
we spoke with a Pacific doctor who's saying it's evolving. It's just the nature of this particular
mm,
disease.
mhm.
How much do you know so far? Have they told you in terms of the Ministry of Education? Um, will it be how? I mean, what are they saying? Is it going to be indefinite? Is this how school? If you are a teacher, is this what it's going to be like for the rest of the year until you're told otherwise?
What are they telling us? Not very much at the moment. So, as I said, we were told literally we started school on the 4th of January. I went into school, and then that very evening, the UK government, the England government said, oh no, we're going to close schools. At the moment, we are closed until possibly February half term. So that's about 5 weeks of school, 5 or 6 weeks. Um, but the wording from the Ministry of Education is for now, up until February half term, you are teaching online, and they have given out guidelines. For example, primary schools are expected to receive a minimum of 3 hours of instruction. Secondary school students are to receive a minimum of 5 hours of instruction. There's guidance as well in terms of what that instruction is supposed to look like. So you are to teach for a minimum of 25, 35 minutes, plus activities, plus resources. There's a big issue at the moment in terms of the vast difference of access to resources. Obviously, there are students and families who don't have laptops, who don't have Wi-Fi, so the government and schools are trying to get that out. There are teachers as well who are struggling because they are to teach for a minimum of 3 hours, 5 hours, but also have their own children, as do a lot of parents who work as well. As a teacher myself in our household, we both go into work because we are supervising and teaching children of parents who are able to and allowed to, critical workers, to send their children in. Some schools, to support their students, are also telling parents to send in their children if they don't have access to laptops and Wi-Fi, if the children have nowhere quiet to study, or if there is a safety issue with children. So, you could have between 10 to 15 to 20% of your student body back in school with you, particularly in the primary sector. For me, I pretty much teach from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as is in line with my timetable, as will no doubt many secondary school teachers. We do also know that there will be no public exams in July, so we're waiting for more information of what will happen with year 11s and year 13s and their public exams and what will be the future for them.
That is just crazy. Look, I know it's dinner time for you
Mm,
guys over there, so I won't take too much of your time. But I was wondering, in terms
that's
of the
very
cost
right.
of cost of living, like, are we seeing the impact on food? Are we seeing, like your commodity items and your daily usage? Are we seeing any impacts on those? Because obviously, if you're a supermarket, I don't know about the UK, but in New Zealand, if you have in a pre-existing medical condition, you are not allowed to go to work. And so I don't know if the UK is doing the same. So if that's the case, you're looking at a short of manpower. And so if you've got a supermarket and it's a popular one, how that will be impacted,
Mm.
and usually they forward it onto the customers unless the government itself has some sort of subsidiary. Is there any impact on the daily purchases because of the tier five?
Not at the moment. The government and also the trading industry have promised that everything will remain the same so that people can continue to shop. All they have said is that try and make it just one person per household. At the moment, we are waiting and anticipating to see what will happen. As you probably know, we have just come out of the EU, so Brexit has happened for us. They are expecting possible shortages of some products that were imported from the EU, but that's yet to be seen. All of the major commodities, bread, milk, all those types of things, they are still in supply. And if there are difficulties for people, there is a lot of help out there for them in terms of food banks, which have seen a large increase in the need for them in the communities.
That is crazy. Lilomaiava Joanne Lufi Ah-Sam, look, thank you very much for your time this morning. God bless you there and the rest of our Pacific community of diaspora and the Kiwis that are living there. Those who are trying to come home, those who are trying to adapt,
Mm,
be safe, and let's hope there is no tier six, because I think from there on in,
mm.
you probably need to scan a barcode going from the bathroom to the bed. Because I feel that's how much they're going to look at these things. But thank you again for your time. Good evening and
You're
have a good dinner.
welcome.
And think of us when you're having a Yorkshire pudding in it.
I'm hoping to see if there's any more Whitaker's peanut slab or maybe some pisupo in the cupboards at the moment. It's winter and wet, so we need some comfort food in our house.
Well, you're going to be out of Taro because the Caribbean is close too. But look, thank you again and talk to you soon.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for keeping us in your thoughts and prayers.
No worries. Be safe. After. Well, it is now 12 minutes to 8 o'clock. We'll unpack that after because I feel like I have been selfish.